Hi everyone. In this video, I'll give you a guide of how to attend a NASCAR Canada race. I went to the Saskatoon 250 in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan at the Sutherland Automotive Speedway. So I'll mostly talk about that, but I think the tips apply to every speedway. So one thing I suggest to bring to any motorsports event is earplugs. I bought a bag of them from Home Depot and just bring them to every event. I bring extras because people forget them. They are so nice, just a lifesaver. I highly suggest bringing them to everything. Another thing I wish I brought, I didn't, is an FM radio and earbuds for it. They broadcast the race, so it'd be a good way to kind of keep track of what's going on track. A lot of motorsport events do this, so you can get specific ones, and then you can bring it to every event that you go to. It's a nice thing to have. I wish I brought it. I just totally forgot. So the event I went to was rush seating, so I'd suggest showing up early just to secure a better seat. There's a lot of places to sit, but if you want a good seat, I'd show up a little early. One thing too is they had no programs at the race, so I suggest before you go and do some research, like of just like looking at the standings, the previous race results, kind of get to know what cars are what numbers, what cars are good, what cars are bad, what cars have a history. I used my phone. I looked up like the qualifying results. So I had the car numbers and names, but I wish I did a bit more going into it. I assumed they'd have a spotter's guide or a program, but they didn't. So just prepare for that. Maybe you can even make your own quick little sheet just so you can enjoy the action a bit more. So one thing I found kind of weird is before the race they did a prayer. I've never really seen that at a sporting event in Saskatchewan, but it's something they did. It's a very, obviously, NASCAR Southern roots, so maybe that's it, but I found it really off-putting and on. So one thing that if you're a fan of motorsports, I've never seen a live event before or never went to a live event, one thing that you really miss out on is just the smell of the tires, the oil, like the burning rubber. It has this, like, it just has this such a strong smell. I've had it at F1 events, I've had it here, that you just do not realize when you're watching on TV. So like, if you're a fan of motorsports and haven't been to an event, even if it's like a lower level grassroots thing, I suggest going just so you can get that smell, just so you get a better sense of like the speed the cars go, the smell, the whole thing, the noise of the cars. In NASCAR Canada, they don't do pit stops. They don't really have a pit crew. So halfway through, they do an intermission and do like a 10-minute work on the cars, change the tires and everything. So it gives you a good chance to go to the bathroom. However, like obviously everyone wants to go to the bathroom then, so the lineup's kind of big, but you do get that intermission, kind of almost more like a basketball game or a traditional ball and stick sport, which is nice. I watched some of the work they're doing just because it's pretty interesting to see. Like some cars did pretty major work, some did pretty minor work. So it's pretty interesting, but you don't get those, like, 4-second pit stops or whatever NASCAR normally does. So if you ever go to a race in Saskatoon at the Sutherland Automotive Speedway, the seats are horrible. They are cement, they are just so uncomfortable. So I suggest either bring like one of those like half seat things so you have back support, or a blanket or a cushion, or just or just bring a lawn chair and sit in the grass. Just something. Those seats are really bad, and my back was so sore after, so just prepare for that. There's a lot of merch booths here, so like NASCAR Canada had one, which had some pretty interesting shirts. Golf Canada, like the oil company, had a booth, so like I almost bought a golf flag for the shop here, but they were like $35, which seemed kind of expensive to advertise another company. But if you bring your wallet, there's a lot to spend on. There's a concession stand, food. I got poutine, it was pretty good. I just got Pepsi because I was driving, I didn't want to drink, but there is booze you can buy for pretty cheap. So at the end of this race, in the last lap, in the second to last corner, one car really bumped the other car out. Like it was quite a bad overtake. So the race ended, and then they actually did a video review, and it took a couple minutes. And then they announced that the car that actually crossed the line second was the winner because the car that crossed first got a 5-second penalty because of this illegal move. So it was a very interesting Abu Dhabi 2021 ending to the race, which was really exciting and kind of made the whole race worthwhile. Like it was a good race, but that ending was just really interesting and really cool. The race itself was pretty competitive. There's 12 cars, which is a pretty small field. Small track, but a pretty small field, and they acknowledged that it was a pretty small field this year. There's kind of 4 cars at the front who stayed at the front the whole race, and they kind of switched positions a bit. And there's like whether that be a 6-car midfield where you know, they spread out sometimes between cautions and the halftime. They bunch together, and there's some really good racing in that midfield. And then there's the two cars that were kind of local cars, like local kids. They got lapped, and like they were well behind, and they weren't really racing much of it. They were just kind of doing circles. But all in all, it was a very interesting race, very exciting race. I'm not a big oval guy. I'm more of a road course F1 endurance fan. So as someone who, like, I don't really watch NASCAR, like proper NASCAR at all, I really enjoyed it. I suggest, like, even if you're not a NASCAR fan, but just a motorsports fan, I suggest supporting the local NASCAR Canada. Just supporting Canadian motorsports in general is pretty important, but like this NASCAR, it's arguably the highest level of motorsports we have in Canada right now as a Canadian only series. So I suggest just getting to the track. Obviously, like, getting out and experiencing things in person is just a lot better than on TV. The races are broadcast online, and TSN shows highlights of them, but go to the race. Like, the ticket was pretty cheap. It was only like $40. I suggest if you live in Edmonton, Saskatoon, or anywhere else that NASCAR Pinty's races, I suggest just spending the $30-$40, get the ticket, enjoy a nice evening, see the cars. Even if you're not a big NASCAR fan, even if you're not an oval racing fan, it's just nice to get out, see it, watch it go. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to follow along with my adventures in my workshop, please subscribe.